this will be a fun game to watch. Whether it's close or not, it'll be a fun one. I have this next game up as Colts at Baltimore. Ravens are getting 8 points. 44, once again, is the over-under, which is interesting to me because, I think that Jags-Texans game is way more prone to go over than the Ravens-Colts game, just because I haven't really seen this Ravens offense being extremely free-flowing.
Mm-hmm.
I know Odell's now battling an ankle injury, I believe. Zay
Mm-hmm.
Flowers has been good. Mark Andrews, hasn't done much in his last
Only
game
played
back.
one game.
Yeah,
Only
in his last game back, exactly. So I think it's going to be a little bit slower. One thing that I do want to mention, though, is, and this might be a crazy take, but does it feel like Lamar has completely gone away from his fuck it, I'm running?
Oh, I am so happy you mentioned that. I am
Right?
so happy. I could not agree with you more. This might be a really weird comparison that some people might not remember or know. But do you remember when RG3 came back from his injury?
Yeah.
And he came back and said, I want to be a pure pocket passer when he was still with Shanahan before he got fired by Washington. And it just didn't work. It didn't work because that wasn't his skill set. That wasn't what he was best at. And I'm worried that Lamar might be going that same direction. I'm really worried about that because regardless of how much Lamar has improved as a passer, which he has, even since he won that MVP, he has definitely improved as a passer.
Definitely.
It's still not your strong suit. Your strong suit's your mobility. The thing that makes you different is the way that you're able to move on that field. The thing that makes you special is your mobility.
I mean, those 40-yard spin move juke to the end zone. I mean, he had runs that were more spectacular than any running back in the league.
100%.
And now it's just like it's not there, at least yet.
And I think it's worrisome, and the reason I'm so happy you brought that up, obviously, as I said before, he doesn't have the skill set to be a pure pocket passer. Like, say a guy like Brock Purdy, who we watched last night, he's a pure pocket passer. That's his game.
Yeah.
Lamar, that's not your game. And I'm worried, is it Baltimore? Is it Baltimore that's trying to do this to keep him from getting hurt after that huge contract? Was it Lamar who said, I want to be more of a pocket passer, like more of a field general type of archetype? Or was it the two? Was it both of them who both went to each other and said, hey, we don't know if this is sustainable. We want to go to more of this style of play, which, I mean, it's early, but it's not working. It's not working for them.
And it is a new offense there in Baltimore, and they do want to get the best receiving core that he's had. So they definitely want him to pass more. That's not a secret.
Even if he's not going to go upfield, you can still let him scramble behind the line of scrimmage and find a guy open, make a play that way. He isn't even doing that right now.
No broken plays or anything.
I'm really concerned about his play right now. I'm really worried about it because he doesn't look like himself at all.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to this a little bit later, but Justin Fields, a lot of people think that's the same thing where he came in this year proving, I want to prove I am a good pocket passer, and then all of a sudden now he's not doing what got him here,
Right.
So it's interesting to see. We're going to touch on Justin Fields in a little bit, but I think we both agree with Lamar, and I'm sure a lot of people are noticing it. Don't get me wrong. He's still, they're still winning games. He's still playing well.
Is Lamar Jackson right now 2 games in, regardless of what XYZ player has done? You're not looking at resume.
Okay.
Would you say Lamar Jackson's a top 10 quarterback based on how he's played through 2 weeks?
If it's name 10 quarterbacks to win you one game right now, I probably wouldn't say yes.
I wouldn't have him in there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have him in there.
If you're saying the Lamar of past years, everything included, he's in that list.
100%. But right now,
I'm not
based
overwhelmed.
on level of play in the 2023 NFL season, and I think this will change. I'm saying this assuming that it will change this season.
Yeah.
He's not been a top 10 quarterback in the league. He hasn't played like it.
Well, so to just go even deeper into this, so far his rushing, first game, 6 carries, 38 yards. His long was a 14-yard rush. Then on this last game against the Bengals, 12 carries, 54 yards. His long was 12. I think what we're seeing is, what he takes the ball double the amount of times as he did in the first game, in that second game, but his average yard per carry is 4.5 yards. So
Yep.
there's obviously something there where he's not getting those boom runs, 14, 12 yards. It's only 2 games in, don't get me wrong. But, and listen, he hasn't been bad as a passer. 77 completion percentage, first game 72, almost 73. He's had some good balls. He's been solid. His QB rating was around 112 last week. But when you look at Lamar, you're looking at him for that running ability, and he's not giving you that running ability. What separates him from any other quarterback in this league?
Nothing. His throwing ability, or passing ability rather, it's good. It's not great. It's good. It could get to the point where it's great eventually, but right now it's not great. So you really have to, as we said before, dip into what made you special. Dip into what made you that MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, Lamar's Lamar for a reason, because of his ability to run. So I really don't get why either him or the Ravens or both have come to this idea that he just shouldn't do it anymore, or not as much. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
So another thing, this is obviously Colts at Ravens. Anthony Richardson is out with a concussion. Second time he's been pulled from a game this season in 2 games. What do you think Anthony Richardson should do? Because he's obviously shown he can be effective running the ball. He had 2 rushing touchdowns last week, and he's been an effective quarterback, thus far.
I think he's been great when he plays.
Yeah, but what do you think there is there? Because, week 1, you have Trevor Lawrence coming up to him at midfield after the game. Protect yourself, man.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing he's saying, good job, but protect yourself.
Yep.
So if it's this big of an injury, what do you think about his potential there? I mean, is he going to have to make the type of move that Lamar and Justin Fields is doing already? And if so, I mean, maybe these type of quarterbacks, maybe their lifespan in terms of playing career can only be 4 to 5 years, but maybe at that 4 to 5 year peak, they are, some of the best in the league.
Like Cam Newton, literally like Cam Newton.
Exactly. That's what I was going to come back to, is just, we've seen it with Cam. We sort of saw it with RG3, but he had injuries even earlier on. And now we're seeing it with Lamar. Justin Fields, is kind of taking he's switching that route maybe before it's too late, and he gets hurt from rushing too much. And then Anthony Richardson, 2 games in, he's been banged up in both games, pulled. So it's interesting to see. It's definitely something to monitor. And I like the Ravens in this one. Gardner Minshew starting. He's always a problem for other teams. So we'll see. I don't love the 8 points that they're giving. I'm not going to take that, but I think the Ravens will win.
I agree. And just to add on to Anthony Richardson, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. And I don't think it's the running itself that has gotten him hurt. It's his style of running. Like, dude, you're allowed to slide.
Yeah.
You can slide. You're not Derrick Henry. You don't have to run people over. The week 1 when he got hurt, at the end of the game, he put his head down like he was Jerome Bettis trying to drive across the goal line. Like, you're down by 2 scores. What are you doing? So I don't think it's running the ball itself. I think it's what he's doing when he's running it, if that makes sense.
I completely agree. And it's something to monitor for all these teams, because you make that investment, you make that draft pick in a quarterback that can
who
run.
So far has showed promise. He showed promise in the first 2 games. So, yeah, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned.
Okay, next.